Hello, welcome to Talking Games. Just finished Brighton 1, West Ham United 1 in the Premier League. Quick disclaimer, as always, the following discussion only relates to the 90 minutes we have just witnessed and not the season overall. But Gonzo, how are you feeling?
Disappointed, actually. Yeah, we seem to be. Alec Ferguson always used to talk about the last 10 games and how important they were. And granted, he was talking about generally winning titles, but he would always say it. It's really when a lot of the important stuff is done, and it's another one, unfortunately, where we've got ourselves into this position through good work through this season, and we look to be lacking ideas. We look tired. We look to be lacking confidence. So I'm very frustrated, mate, because it just seems to be slipping through our fingers, really.
I'm very, very frustrated. I'm almost bordering on angry at some point watching that. I'm aware the season's been fantastic overall, but tonight, I'm very disappointed. I thought we were crap at times. If you showed me that game and said which one of those two teams have a chance of European football, I'd have picked Brighton. Or I would have said nobody, to be honest with you. It looks like an end of the season game when both teams have got nothing to play for and it's quite a slow pace and stuff. And I'm just disappointed by what I've seen. I just thought the Everton game was sort of easy enough to get over because I thought we got done by a good team, a better team than us on the day. I thought the tactics were spot on by Everton, though. I thought we would learn from that, and I saw the complete opposite tonight, to be honest with you. We'll get on to it in a second. But anyway, let's just skip to half-time because there's a lot of dissecting to do about the game overall rather than what we saw during the game. But at half-time, what were you thinking? It was 0-0. Not too much to discuss.
No, I thought the best moments were when Fornals was brought into the middle. I don't like him on the left. I thought he, did nothing there. Brought him into the middle. He started to look good and create stuff. I was quite annoyed that we weren't getting as many crosses over as I would have liked. We couldn't. Soufal wasn't in the game from an attacking point of view, and where was Souček? It seemed like what I expected to happen, which Declan Rice coming in, freeing up Souček, and we'd find him getting into the box on the end of crosses. That wasn't happening tactically for both reasons. Number one, he was against the box. Number two, the crosses weren't coming in from that side. And I just thought we were lacking any sort of cutting edge. Again, the attacking players, the players you want to do the attacking, there was no crispness. There was no incision about them. I thought it was quite dull, and I thought we looked quite tired, really.
I was just disappointed. I thought I could understand if we were nervous, and I thought we looked a little bit for the opening 10, 15, 20 minutes. I was waiting for us to sort of get the ball down and start knocking about and get into the game. And at times we did it. We started knocking the ball about. Then we just boot it and just give the ball away. And I thought, what are we doing? We just kept going long. And I thought, we're never going to manage to go long against this Brighton team. They were sitting deep enough. There was no space to get in behind. And we just kept trying to do it. It was like a continuation of the Everton game for me. I thought they played different styles. Everton, Newcastle, and Brighton, they played different styles in possession. But our possession was relatively similar. Similar formations, sit back, tighten up, don't like much space in front of your defence, don't give that area where Lingard likes to play. And we struggled again, and we were doing the same tactics we did against Everton. We were playing the same thing over and again. And it was almost like I generally thought I just watched a third half or a third, if you like, of the Everton game where we just kept knocking in and kept getting knocked out again. Just that I thought Brighton were a bit neater and tidier on the ball than Everton were. And we handled them relatively okay in the first half. I didn't think there was too much danger there. And we'll be honest with you, I thought for a 5-minute spell towards the end of the half, I thought we played well. We started to really crank the pressure up, and we were getting a couple of cutbacks to Fornals in particular. Yeah. I thought, here we go. This is what I've been waiting to see. The problem was it only happened in 5-minute bursts right at the half. I thought if we start like that in the second half, I think we'll win. But the second half started, Gonzo, and I thought just the same again.
Well, I thought we had more players in attack in the second half, but I just kept on writing down in my notes that we looked tired. The players weren't moving for each other, so we'd get into a position, I don't know, 30 yards down the pitch, 25 yards away from the goal, whatever it was, and then we just lack ideas. We'd lack what we'd seen maybe 5 games ago or something like that, when we play these little triangles of someone would pass it and he'd move into a position. We weren't playing pass and move. We were playing pass and stand still quite a lot. And because of that, we were struggling to open them up. And if we didn't have the level of crosses come, and there were some crosses, don't get me wrong, but they lacked any sort of accuracy. And technically we weren't good today either. It wasn't. I think when you put all those things together, your attack is blunt, you're tired, and your technique is poor. Then you're sort of asking for trouble. But I felt as a theme throughout the game, I also felt we had players in attack. I never thought there was anyone particularly close enough to Antonio to get bodies around him. And the one time that I really felt that happened was actually when Benrahma was on, and Antonio actually was two. There were two occasions. One time Antonio played Lingard in really badly, really bad decision or technique, and the other time he's passed to Benrahma. Oh, it was just that was the time we had a 3-on-2. Antonio had the ball. And again, the technique and the decision making let us down, really. So it was. But so I don't just mean in terms of us being tired, in terms of physical fatigue. It seemed like we were tired in the mind, mentally tired as well. We just seemed a bit stale and a bit flat, Gio.
I just don't get it tonight. I'm going to sound like I am pissed off and stuff, and to be honest with you, I am. And it's not necessarily the performance per se. If you told me at the start of the season we draw 1-1 away to Brighton, I wouldn't have been bothered that much. I'd been like, yeah, right. But the circumstances have changed. Brighton have got nothing to play for. We are trying to get European football here. There's a good chance now, or a second chance, that we've still got in our hands but I tell you what, the pack behind us are getting closer and closer. Arsenal are right behind us now all of a sudden. Arsenal, from nowhere right there. Leeds aren't that far behind us and stuff. They won't catch us this season. But we are slipping, and we're slipping badly. And tonight, we kept saying we've got 4 or 5 cup finals to go. Do you know something? That we've not been playing like it's cup finals. It's just I was just so disappointed tonight, Gonzo. I thought whenever 1 or 2 players did do something good, the other 2 players involved in the move weren't up to scratch. There was one time Lingard tried to do a 1-2 with Antonio, gave it to him, did the run. Antonio turned around and ran away with it.
Yeah,
and you can see Lingard going, where have you gone? And that pass that Antonio messed up to Benrahma, I thought Lingard's pass to Antonio was the wrong one. I think Lingard should have played in Benrahma. He doesn't. He gives it to Antonio. Antonio gets it wrong. And it's just, nothing was really working there. One good cross come from Benrahma for Dawson. The guy's 8 yards out with a free header. He's like, come on, we've got to be doing
He tried
better.
too hard. He tried to be too precise with it.
It's just we've just got to be doing better than that. It's just such a disappointing result and a disappointing performance. And I think it's a massive compliment to the squad as a whole that a draw away to Brighton is seen as a disappointing result, when before that would have been a decent result or an okay result at worst. But I just felt today that we just, I hate saying this, and I say it against everything, I'm going to say it again, we just didn't want it enough tonight. There was 1 or 2 players I felt were running themselves, and Declan Rice looked knackered. Declan Rice looked shattered for a large portion, but he was still trying to run. It looked like he was running on empty at one point. But then this is where, Gonzo, you've got to turn around to the manager and say, we'll help them out, do something. You've got 2 subs there, and you didn't use any of your substitutions. You brought Benrahma on early enough for Bowen. I thought, okay, here we go, we're trying something. But after 5-10 minutes, it was quite clear that substitution on its own wasn't going to be enough. He's got players on that bench. He's got his captain on the bench. He's got a young kid who's scoring goals for fun, and then the 23 is there. He's got a Ukrainian international there. He's got options there. And if he's not happy with these options, then we have to go back to the January transfer window and say, well, you fucked it. Because we're now paying a consequence. Because if you think we look tired, I thought some players looked tired, but I thought some of them just weren't up to scratch now. But then it comes down to a lack of squad depth. And that is a result of the January transfer window. And this is where, it's just so... Anyway, Brighton made it 1-0. 10, 15 minutes to go or something like that? Brighton made it 1-0. Great pass, great run, great finish.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really good pass, actually. But it was an open through the middle pass, which, unfortunately, we're seeing that a little bit more frequently now. But I did think he ran between the centre-backs well. He is. I thought he's looked sharp well back. I've said it a few times recently. I think he's got him playing. And it was a nice take, and it was a really nice finish. But both times, I think you'll see when it was whoever the geezer was. I mean, both Souček and Rice were chasing him and couldn't quite manage it, and then both our centre backs were then chasing Welbeck and couldn't quite manage it. But did finish it really, really well. And at that, I say at that point, it's not like, I've got to say, even though we pulled the draw back, it's not like it feels an awful lot better to have drawn than it did when we were losing, to be fair, because I'll tell you what, that goal, when they scored that goal, pretty much summed up our our push for Europe over the last few games, you know, at least as you call it, the cup finals, it was synonymous with that. Oh, okay, well, there you go. This is unfortunately how it's been.
I think Sufal gets it massively wrong, to be honest with you. It's another character mistake. He steps up, tries to play offside, and gets it completely wrong. He allows Welbeck a free run. He'd almost been better just running with Welbeck and trying to put him off a little bit, but he gets it wrong, Sufal, which is rare. You know, some players have credit in the back where he can afford to make a mistake like that. I think Fabianski does the right thing. He comes off his line straight away. It's on the edge of the 18-yarder, Fabianski. He's made it really difficult for Danny Welbeck. And that finish, he makes it look easy, but it's an unbelievable finish. You could play in some of our players, possibly including our striker, and they wouldn't do that. They'd miss it completely. But it's a fantastic run by Welbeck. Great through ball by Tao, or how you pronounce his name, the lad that came on. It's a great pass, great finish.
Percy Tao.
That's his name.
Dirty Towel. Yeah, it was quite funny actually because what's it came off and he got replaced with a dirty towel.
he made a fantastic ball, fantastic finish. Credit to Brighton. You know, I thought Brighton played well tonight, especially considering they're nothing to play for. Really, I think they've done all right. Bear in mind they're missing a lot of the key players and stuff out there. I thought they'd done well, but today, just want to click on this random comment. He says that Dad's a West Ham fan. He's a Brighton fan, been willing on the hammers.
He certainly is. Your comments all the time.
And thank you very much. He's popped a tenner in for some biscuits. So just want to say, that's my highlight of my evening, that. Some biscuits. But it's just, you know, we got a goal for Gonzo. Saeed Benrahma, you know, against Everton, we were waiting for a little bit of magic. We didn't have it tonight. You had that feeling that we needed a little bit of magic. We had it tonight in Saeed Benrahma. He finally gets his first goal. It could end up being a crucial goal. Come the end of the season, it might just be enough to get us 7th or 6th or something like that. But wonderful strike.
It was really good. He took his time. He had a bit of time. I actually think Fornells meant that header out actually to him. I think he did. But the curl and the precision that he got on the strike, Benrahma, was really good, and possibly a reason why he maybe shouldn't be out wide as much as he is. You know, if he can do that sort of thing, it was, and I bet he does that all the time in training. By the way, I bet he does it all the time. Well, just wonderful technique.
Yeah, it was a fantastic, unbelievable strike, really. You've been looking around the 11 tonight, thinking, well, someone's going to have to do something. Souček had a nice effort in the first half, which swerved and needed punching out kind of thing. We were lacking that bit of sparkle. Benrahma stepped up tonight, got his goal, and I'm delighted for him, really. What he does do is it sort of makes him undroppable for the next game. Benrahma must start the next game kind of thing, because the question has always been, well, he's not got a goal yet. He's got one now, so you can't really leave Saeed Benrahma out. And it does, to me, it suggests that Moyes made an error in his starting 11, which is Saeed Benrahma personally should have started. But anyway, finished 1-1. We'll go into individual performance now, then we'll backtrack and do the overall outlook a little bit, because it's a funny review, this one, isn't it? So take your pick with individual performers.
I thought Cresswell struggled to get his deliveries over, and I thought, actually, to be fair, I didn't think Dawson was bad. Actually, I thought Dawson did a wonderful pass, did some really good blocks. Obviously, it's nice to see Ogbonna back. Sufal, I've mentioned. He was better in the second half, but in the first half, I didn't feel he was particularly involved, particularly from an attacking point of view. I think you really got to concentrate on really Antonio and Lingard in particular, because they just didn't function and they just didn't fire tonight. And it was a real shame. And listen, Lingard got systematically fouled. He really did.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, if that's why we saw a bad performance, I'm not inclined to believe that, because I think he did all right. I don't think he was injured. And I think a player of that experience is not scared by it. I just think it's probably the more obvious one, which is when he first started, he was in great form, and now he's not in form. And I think that's probably more realistic of what it is. Antonio, Antonio didn't look unfit, but he wasn't, like the Antonio against Wolves and that sort of thing. It's not the same guy. And I thought he was I mean, it's not talking about horrendous, but just not able to impact the game. Just not. I thought actually his hold-up play with his back to goal was fine, but when he actually turned around, he was facing goal. I didn't think it was very good. And funny enough, you mentioned Odebeko there. I would have brought him on. I would have brought him on just for something different. And I would have done it for Antonio, just for something different, just for someone sharp, he might have a long shot and he might have a better technique, because I think Antonio could have scored all game and just wasn't going to score. I don't particularly, want to dig him out. I thought Bowen started brightly and energetically, but he was right to hook him off, because he just progressively got worse after that and it just wasn't really involved in the game. No wonder he got hooked. He barely noticed him in the second half, actually.
Yeah, it's a difficult one to do, and pick out these players. I don't think anyone was horrendously bad. I don't think anyone was like a 3 out of 10 kind of performance, but I don't think anyone was 8 out of 10 either. And I think that was part of the substitution. But I think that was the problem tonight. There wasn't enough players stepping up. I thought Dawson played really well, given the crowd. I was concerned about him. I thought he had a really good game. I think Soufal was Soufal, to be honest with you. I know sometimes he's attacking end product can let you down, but I think sometimes he gets an assist. Sometimes his cross will be magnificent, but other times his cross is just like hit it into a dangerous area and hope for the best. And it works sometimes. Sometimes that's all you've got to do. Midfield-wise, I thought Rice played really well in the first half. I thought he was knackered in the second half. Koulibaly just back. I think Souček at times, he was getting in the box on a lot of occasions, but the ball wouldn't come in for him, and then there was times the ball was why he wasn't in the box. It was a mixed game from Souček. I thought Lingard was quiet. Personally, I would have subbed him. I would have subbed Jesse Lingard. The problem is with Jesse Lingard, he's like what Dimitri Payet was, which is you leave him on, you just hope he's going to do something, because he has that ability. He can play quiet for 87 minutes and turn up and get you a goal kind of thing. There's one or two times I think Lingard looks quiet. He looks quiet and maybe sub him. Then he turns around and he zips a 10-yard pass into the feet of Antonio, and all of a sudden we're running and got an attack. Or I think there's no one else that really does that type of pass or creativity for us. I thought Fernandes was he's the most frustrating player in the world. He works hard. Some of his positioning in the first half was fantastic, but his finishing is poor. Then second half, he's trying this flick, and you're thinking, what on earth are you doing with that flick? He's got it completely wrong. You think, why have you even done? There's no one around him. I think he thinks there's a Brighton player behind him or something. Antonio, oh, mate. If Antonio could just stay in the middle of the pitch, that would help for a start. He was on the left more than he is in the middle. At one point, he was playing like right wing back or something. I just thought,
I think that time was because he'd lost the ball, and he felt he had to go back and retrieve it on that particular occasion, because I saw him back there.
But tonight is just. Oh, I'm not going to say if we had Danny Welbeck, we would have won. But as much as I defend Antonio for being a striker now, there is games like tonight. You just look at me, they're not a striker. He just lets himself down, really. He almost tries too hard. He's trying to cover all the ground, trying to do this. He's trying to create chances. At one point, he got the ball out left, and he's back to our goals. He got it from a throw-in. He's holding on defender. He's sort of half-spun defender and just kicked it into the box. And the keeper just picked it up. And you can see, like, well, there's no one there. Well, that's because you've just kicked into your position. That's why, mate. Like, you're aiming for yourself. Like I said, I don't think anyone played bad tonight. I just don't think anyone was good enough. And it was just frustrating. But overall, I think my concern isn't necessarily the individual players per se, but tonight it's more the team performance, the togetherness. Like, I don't think we created enough. And I just feel disappointed tonight, Gonzo.
Yeah, I mean, I thought some people played badly. I've got to be honest with you. So, as I do think that's their job. Your attackers, they've got to create something. They've got to do something. And actually, it's the second game in a row that we've got that, and they just didn't do enough today. And certainly they were more culpable than the defenders or the midfielders, because realistically, I know they conceded a goal, but by and large, Brighton had a lot of possession, and we blunted them for most of the time. I know they had a lot of players out on centre, but they also had players out in defence. So why weren't our attackers able to do that? I thought they played badly. Our attack, obviously not Benrahma when he came on, who did something. But that's very frustrating, and I do agree with everything. I think sometimes people are looking for one thing. Sometimes just everything is true. I think it's down to squad. I think we're mentally tired. I think we're physically tired. I think that the substitutions didn't happen. This is the worst possible time for us to have whatever it might be, 3 games in 8 days, or whatever the case may be. Right now, we do not need this. He's going to have to make some changes for the upcoming game. Wednesday's game. Yeah, I mean that's a quick turnaround. He cannot play. I mean, you spoke about it in the build-up. Oh, he might play the same team for 3 games consecutively. He can't. He really can't. He's got to mix it up a bit.
He'll play 10 of the starting 11 tonight in the next game.
Oh.
He will. Well, he'll take out Boy and put in, say, Benrahma. I can already tell you West Ham's team for the West Brom game. It's because it's predictable, and I think that was the problem tonight, Gonzo. It was predictable from us. We played the same way we did against Everton.
Yeah.
And Brighton played a similar defensive structure to the way Everton did, and we struggled. We struggled today. We couldn't break them down. We didn't know how to break them down. We got space out wide, which is no surprise. So we kept crossing it, and they've got White, Webster, and Byrne in the centre backs area. And we were trying to put Jared Bowen in there to contest a header against them and stuff. The 1-2 times we did get some chances. I don't know who it was, but someone played Andy Creswell in behind just at the end of the first half. Lovely through ball, gave Creswell a bit of space. He cut it back. He picked out Fornals to his feet, And it was just like, that's what we needed. We just needed a little bit of calmness, a little bit of creativity. And too often I felt that we were passing it around. We got a bit impatient. Someone's trying a 30-yard over the top ball. And we were just going straight to the Brighton defence. Look what we're doing. I'm sorry, but tonight, a lot of the blame for myself lies with the manager because he's done the same tactics against Everton and tonight. And I let him off a little bit against Everton, boys, because I thought Everton surprised him. Everton turned up with a different formation, different tactics. I allow that. That's fair. That's praise to Ancelotti rather than sort of criticism of David Moyes. But tonight, I've got to criticise David Moyes a bit because Brighton played the formation we all knew they were. I say they all knew, but like I said to you in the build-up show, in the preview, the team come out, you thought, what are they going to do? But I said to you, they're probably going to stick with their back 3. If I can work it out, a Scottish geezer sat in his armchair in front of a webcam can work out. I'm pretty sure Premier League football manager can work it out as well. So there's no surprises from the way Brighton defended tonight. Yeah, we were just clueless with our attacks. We were trying the same thing over and over and over again. We made one sub, and the sub went and influenced it. Brighton made 3 subs. One of their substitutions got the assist for the goal. And you're just looking at it. You're looking at the bench thinking, well, what's the point of having Odebeko on the bench all this time? I would actually like to see Moyes have a bit of bollocks tonight. I think some people say West Ham have bottled it, the team have bottled it, and I think we have to some extent. But what I will say is I think the manager's bottled it a bit tonight. It's almost like he was too scared at 0-0 to go and try and get the extra couple of points there. He's got options on that bench. And like I said, if he's not happy with the options on his bench, then he got the January transfer window wrong. It's as simple as that because we're only missing one player, and that's Masuaku. And yes, he would make a big difference, but I don't care. Brighton were missing 5 players tonight. They were the better team. It's not good enough from a manager tonight. Like I said, season-wise, I think we've had a wonderful season. I'll be delighted to get European football. I still think we'll get European football some sort. It might be 7th rather than 6th. And that'll be a magnificent achievement. But I'm talking about tonight's 90 minutes. And I think the manager's got to take some of that criticism tonight. I don't think we were just trying the same thing over and over and over and over again. And yeah, okay, you can say Jesse Lingard didn't play well. He didn't. But then get him off the pitch. This isn't Jesse Lingard's first quiet game. It's his 5th quiet game in a row or something. If Benrahma was Jesse Lingard tonight, Benrahma would be off after the hour mark. It's not good enough from the team tonight. It's not good enough from the manager. Season, yes, absolutely. But tonight, we got it wrong. Brighton were a better team, and Brighton didn't have anything to play for.
Mate, I can't disagree with that. Really, I was worried about Brighton coming up anyway. I thought I don't like the way they play football. I've always thought, as you know, the build-ups I thought the way they play football was the trouble for us. I thought naively that them having some players out and us being more up for it would make that contest swing more in our favour. Well, actually, we weren't out for it, as you said. We had an awful lot wrong today, and I think had Brighton, we're lucky really because Brighton would have beaten us well tonight if they had had all their normal players there. There's no doubt about that at all. Look, massively disappointing. It's not just this Brighton game. It's just
the Everton game, the Newcastle game,
the whole lot. And as I say, and I said this before, the accusation will be there if we don't manage it, that we got to the end and we bottled it. And that's, that is harsh because it has been a good season, but you know, we just really all wanted something to get behind and something to cheer at the end. And this is another one of those performances we've seen, and we all get excited, and you know, we don't. They just don't deliver. Where's the urgency? Where's the intensity? Where's the attacking flair? And that's why I say it almost seems like they're mentally tired. They're not passing and moving. They're not sharp. They're not inventive. They're not spinning off each other. Massive shame.
Yeah. Anyway, anything you'd like to add before we disappear a bit?
No, not really, mate. I just
want to add. I think we've had a fantastic season. We've got 2 games to go. We'll call it 2 cup finals because it is 2 cup finals. We now need 6 points. I haven't looked at the league table. I don't know what that gets us if the teams around us win and stuff as well. Obviously, Champions League's gone now completely. So we're now trying to get 6th place. 5th and 6th is the same reward, so it doesn't really make too much difference. A couple of million quid in it. 6th place, 7th place would still. I've been a big advocate of the Europa Conference League anyway. I think 7th would be a fantastic achievement for us. That competition would be really good for us. I do genuinely believe that. I know a lot of people have their suspicions about it, but I think it'd be fantastic for us. But I tell you what, 8th would just be extremely disappointing after being 4th for quite a while as well. To finish 8th would be a kick in the stomach. And tonight, we look like a team going to finish 8th rather than 6th. And it's just... it's a frustrating and disappointing evening, Gonzo. Frustrating and disappointing.
It is, mate. But you know what? I think to a certain extent we have allowed ourselves, I speak for myself here, to get excited about finishing the top 4. Now it's dead. You're dead. It's probably dead after the last game, and you dip a little bit, and then you go. And to be honest with you, mate, I'm not bothered about this.
What's that, sorry?
I'm not bothered about this Conference League. I'd rather not, particularly seeing how tired we've been tonight. So the pressure is on. I would like to play in the Europa League. I don't fancy traipsing. I don't fancy traipsing everywhere and having a load of Sunday games if we're not going to be in one of the top European competitions, quite frankly.
Well, we'll do a video on that because I don't think there's much difference between Europa League and Europa Conference League. We'll have an argument. We'll have a GOV Gonzo debate kind of thing.
We will.
Tonight... just not good enough at the end of the day from West Ham. Disappointing, but 2 games, get 6 points, and we should still get European football, which is the bigger picture. But tonight, anyway, Gonzo, shall we leave it there, my friend?
Yes, mate.
If you've enjoyed this review somehow, please drop a like on and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you tomorrow. Catch you in a bit.